Would you be able to talk more about the time you were broke? It would be interesting to know how you powered through that situation in your life. Oh, I've been broke in my life for a lot longer than I've had money. $23.42. Is that what I just said? I don't even remember because it was that random. Bravo. You get it, boo. Oh, this is very personal. So here we go.
That's your boss, a little bit?
I like that.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
No, hey, I'll let you know if you want, depending on your risk tolerance.
That
Oh, you got it.
was comedic timing. We should use me saying that. This was Adrienne's idea to put this behind the scenes box. What's up, you guys? Okay, it is time to put your coins together, fam, because today we are discussing finances. Now, I did a video a few years ago about money and how to save and with tons of tips, but things have changed. Not just for me, but the entire world. So I figured we'd go over those tips again, see what kind of changes we've made, and also answer some of the questions that you had from my advice. So let's get into it. Thanks to Wealthfront for sponsoring this video. So let's kick it off with one of the things I did not discuss in my last video, which is investing. Okay guys, this is a really important one because even if you're doing everything else right, but you're not investing, you're doing it wrong. That's why I really wanted to talk about Wealthfront today. Wealthfront makes investing easy, affordable, and accessible no matter what your knowledge of finance is. Their service is totally affordable and it literally only takes just a few minutes to set up an account. For me, one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn was how to have my money make me more money. I had to learn that just by having my money sitting in a savings account, it wasn't doing anything for me. So, I don't want you guys to have your money in savings accounts just, twiddling its thumbs. So I really want to encourage you guys to make educated investments to really help your money grow. Wealthfront offers a range of investment accounts, the most popular ones being a taxable account and an IRA retirement account, and they're all super easy to use. No, seriously, you guys, trust me when I tell you it is dumb money person approved. They will actually build a portfolio for you based on your individual risk tolerance, so you can just set it and forget it. But if you'd rather build your own portfolio, you can do that too through Wealthfront. So here's how it works. Once you fund your account, the Wealthfront software, which might I add was actually designed by PhDs, actually manages the account for you using strategies to keep you at your desired risk threshold. So if you want to put your savings to work, all you have to do is click the link in the description or head on over to invest.wealthfront.com/Adrienne, and guess what? You'll even get a special bonus for signing up. One of the other things I didn't exactly touch on in our last video was a safety net. Okay, guys, this one to me has become so important, especially in the last year, because things have gotten quite interesting. I didn't know if I was coming back to a job at The Real. I didn't know if I was going to now be bi-coastal and have to fund both a house in New York and LA. A lot was up in the air and I desperately needed a safety net. So I want to talk to you guys about what that is. And this is completely different from your savings account. Granted, your savings account, I don't want you touching that either, versus your safety net cannot be touched. This is worst case scenario. Your life completely changes, God forbid, but you absolutely desperately need this money. This is the funds that you are never going to touch unless it is that emergency time. Let's just say you had to use 30% of your overall income on taxes. I do have friends that actually, they do the numbers for their own particular thing. Obviously, everyone's is gonna be different, but you do that for yourself and then they create a tax account. And that tax account is obviously every check you get, you take out, in this case, this hypothetical situation, you take 30% of every check you get and you put it into that tax account so that the day that taxes are due, that money is sitting there. This is kind of the same concept, but you decide for yourself what you want that percent to be for your safety net. In my case, I think I recently have been doing 20% of every check that I receive, every payment I get, I take 20% of it and I put it in my safety net. So at the end of the year, it ends up being a nice amount of money, but I do not touch it, no matter what. It doesn't matter if some amazing new house comes on the market, and I'm that person that likes to, do real estate. Even if it is oh my gosh, this is the to die for house, this is an incredible investment, I've got to figure out a different way because I cannot touch my safety net. If I'm being honest, it's like if we go back into lockdown and I never worked again, like if I never worked, like if we couldn't get me on TV again for some strange reason, I have money put away to at least make me cover both of my homes, cover all my overhead for at least a year and a half till I can figure something out. For me, it's important that, like, let's say in the industry that I'm in, tomorrow my show could get canceled. We could be in lockdown again. I mean, we're hoping not, but these things happen and I won't have work. I need to be able to add up what does my overhead look like for at least a year. Now for you, it may be like, I just need to get to $10,000. That's my safety net and I'll be okay. So for everyone, it's going to be different. You have to decide what's best for you and your family. Comment below if you have something like this. Do you have a safety net? Do you have an account that you do not touch no matter what, unless it was an emergency? I really think this is so important for all of us to have, especially after the last year and a half that we've had. Safety nets are a must. Another thing that I'm actually just learning about is something called poor taxes. And I think a lot of people experienced this during the pandemic or just in conversation. Get this, it's called poor taxes because pretty much people have realized that if you go to the store and you get one roll of toilet paper versus going to, a wholesale membership spot where you can get like 20 rolls of toilet paper, it actually is more cost effective to get the 20 rolls of toilet paper. Buying in bulk actually saves you money. And another level of this is buying quality actually saves you money. Let's say you live in a place like New York City. We already know we're gonna need a winter jacket. Instead of buying a cheap winter jacket that might break on you, that might start falling apart, the zipper is gonna fall off, and knowing that next year you're now gonna have to purchase another winter jacket, you might be better off at getting something quality that's gonna last you for the next 5 years, and then you won't need to buy a new winter coat every single winter. That also doesn't mean that it has to be super expensive. Quality does not always mean, we're not talking luxury, high fashion name brands. We're just saying quality, something that's sturdy and good that maybe costs just a little bit more, but will last you a whole lot longer. Even for myself, last year I was home and we were in New York. On the norm, I would get like maybe 4 winter coats for fashion purposes, for, I need a dressy winter coat. I need an LA winter coat versus a New York winter coat. I need something for playing with the kids outside. Instead, last year I only got 1 winter coat. And I've gotta say, I intend on wearing that 1 winter coat again this year because it was quality. And if I'm honest, it kind of went with everything. And I bought it from Amazon, and it is a black coat that comes down to my legs, but I could wear it with it actually is for everything. Like I could wear it to play in the snow outside. Like I said, it's floor length, which means that it is formal, and it actually works for everything. These are the facts. So if you can look at everything that you spend money on with that same lens, like, okay, how can I get the most use out of this? How can I maybe spend just a little bit more, not a crazy amount more, but a little bit more and get a bang for my buck? One of the things we did discuss on our last finance video was putting recurring payments on your credit card and how that actually helps to build your credit. So I've got 2 more things to add to that now that I thought about it. And I'm like, okay, here it is. The number 1 thing is, if you have things that are recurring on your credit card, make sure that you're actually looking at your statements. I actually know some friends that every time they get paid, they look at all of their bank statements and all of their credit card statements to know exactly what is going out. Because let's keep it real, how many apps do you have on there that is recurring, it's on your credit card, and you don't even use that app anymore? You have like just random things that we put on our phones. Guys, go over your recurring expenses because some of them you may not even need. Another thing is things that are automatic payments. Automatic payments are life-changing because they obviously keep you on time, but you even have to check on those things. Like you've got to stay abreast of what's going on with your money and your finances at all times. So I actually like to check in on my automatic payments because to keep it real with you, there's been a few times that I thought something was on automatic pay. Then I got some letters in the mail and they were like, nah fam. And let me just tell you right now, From personal experience, nothing hurts your credit like this. Make sure that whether it's doctors, where they're sending their billing to, make sure that they have the right addresses, because these things can totally kill your credit. I actually saw that one of the comments on my last video got 2,001 likes, and it was from, "Hey KT," it literally is like HAAYKAYTEE. "If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it." I replay this constantly. Bravo, you get it, boo. Cliffordine Norton asks, how do you choose projects to get involved in? Ooh, this is a hard one. Because for me, I pray about things like this. There's actually a really crazy story. This is very personal, so here we go. Now I know this is gonna maybe sound silly or simple, but for me, I pray about the projects that I get involved in, especially if they are financially backed by me. It depends. There are projects that I am a part of because I'm passionate about them and I don't care as much about the financial gain. And then there are projects that I get involved with specifically to invest in and see my money double and triple, and that's what it's for. It's a financial investment. One of those projects actually was Feels Like Home. Originally, when I encouraged Israel to do a live album in the middle of quarantine at home, there were some big questions about how we were gonna make it happen financially. Being honest, Lana was like, what are you doing and why are you doing this? And she questioned it from a great place. Obviously, her job as my manager is to make sure that I'm making wise decisions, especially when it comes to my money. And I just told her, I said, listen, I feel that God has placed this in my heart to financially back this project, and this is what I want to do. And hold please for a praise report. And I can't make this up. When you do things with a good heart, I truly do believe that you not only get possibly your money back, but what it does for your life and the seed that it sows possibly in other people's lives is just so worth it. So we ended up putting the project together. If I'm being honest, it went over budget, grossly over budget, and there were moments when everyone, including my husband, Lana, my family, were looking at me like, what are you doing? And I just felt this peace, and I felt that I had prayed about it and this was what I was supposed to do. And so we made the project happen. We actually ended up seeing the exact numbers that I spent. Let's just say I spent $23.42. That's a very specific number. $23.42. Is that what I just said? I don't even remember because it was that random. $23.42? $23.42. Literally the next day, we got a phone call from my agent, and Lana literally calls me and goes, Adrienne, I don't know what kind of deal you have with God, but you just got an offer for $23.42. It just came in. And I started crying in that moment because I just felt like, wow, I really was investing my money, not based on, am I gonna get this money back? Am I ever gonna see it again? But because it was something that I was passionate about, and somehow it worked out. So I'm just saying there are different kind of projects that you choose to be involved in. Some of them are for the gain of money. Some of them are just passion projects that you have to be accepting of possibly never seeing the money again. And I'm just saying, sometimes God will give you a little wink. Question from Vanessa Pagan. Would you be able to talk more about the time you were broke? It would be interesting to know how you powered through that situation in your life. Oh, I've been broke in my life for a lot longer than I've had money. Literally, I have memories of watching my mom pray over our groceries and asking God to multiply them to help us have what we needed. I remember my mom going down to the mailbox and someone felt it in their heart to give us money, or it was either that's happened before, or I don't know if this was the time when we received a check that we were not expecting. And isn't that, comment below if you've ever had that moment where you get like something back in the mail and you're like, I was not expecting this check, and that is like one of the best feelings. But in this case, my mom really needed the money. Like we were in dire need of money to keep a roof over our head, to be able to pay for my dad to have a car to go to work, in order for us to have food on the table. And I just remember my mom literally opening the mailbox, getting on her knees, crying and thanking God that we got this miracle money in the mail. And so those kinds of things have stuck with me throughout my life, recognizing that I didn't have much, but at the same time also recognizing that that was not what brought happiness into my life. So if we're gonna have a real conversation about finances, the first thing is to recognize that yes, while money is a necessity, it is what we need to survive. It is not what brings happiness. I need money to survive. I do not need it to buy extravagant things, to impress people, to, have name brand clothing. These are things that we enjoy and they can bring pleasure to our life, but that's not where our happiness is. And I think I was able to learn that from a really young age, which makes me better with money now as an adult, now that I have it. I'm really proud of the fact that I'm really smart with my money now because I went through really hard times. I saw what not having money looked like. And then I also saw when I got money and I spent it incorrectly, if I'm being honest, not by choice. So that's also a big misconception. During my Cheetah Girl days when I did have money, it wasn't that I was blowing money on random things. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have YouTube and videos like this that I could watch that helped me save my money. I, at the time, didn't have parents who were knowledgeable either, so it's not like they could step in and be like, oh, you should do this or you should invest. No one told me any of these things. No one sat down with me and explained that every time I got a check, I needed to consider that the government was gonna take a huge chunk of that, so I would spend it and not have the money for tax. There was a lot of things that I struggled with. There's so much I could say about how I powered through it, but I'd say the number one thing was knowing that my situation financially was not where my happiness lied. Does that make sense? I never allowed my financial situation to be the marker for the level of happiness and the joy that I had in my heart. So remember, friends, don't save what you have after spending. Spend what you have after saving. Love you guys. Sending you so much love. Again, thank you to Wealthfront for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to subscribe.